So there's been a big change at NUHW since our last leadership conference. I don't know if you all have noticed this, but for the first time in 40 years, Sal Rosselli isn't our union's president. But as Sal passes the torch of leadership, and his phone is ringing, because he's important. But as Sal passes the torch of leadership, we wanted to take some time to celebrate him and the man who showed him the ropes, Ralph Cornejo. The only person who has been in our movement longer than Sal. If you know Sal, you know it's not about him. It's about us. But I'm going to torture him a bit and talk about what Sal means to me and our union. Because it's not an exaggeration to say that we wouldn't be together in this banquet hall right now if not for Sal. I don't want to rave too much about Sal in the past because he is still outworking all of us, responding to emails on every one of his vacation days. And if I had $1 for every time I had to correct someone about Sal retiring, I would be retiring. So Sal's not retiring. He asked me to tell everybody that. Not retiring, still working harder than most of us. So to me, Sal's greatest legacy isn't the incredible organizing victories he's led or the industry-leading contracts he's negotiated. It's who we are as a union and what we stand for. Bottom up, member-led, empowering people to improve their lives and control their relationship with their employer, being a force for good for everyone. That's who we are as a union because that is who Sal is as a person. So we used to joke around, as staff in the old union, that anytime anyone lied to Sal, an angel would lose its wings. If you ask Sal about his roots, he'll tell you two things. He comes from a loving, supportive Italian immigrant family in Albany, New York, and he had the honor and life-shaping experience of working with Dorothy Day. Day was a founder of the Catholic worker movement, and in the early 70s, Sal worked at her center in New York City's Bowery, helping people who couldn't help themselves. Sal later hopped on his motorcycle So he later hopped on his motorcycle and rode all the way to San Francisco. His plan was to go to medical school, but to pay his way through college, he obviously worked as a model. No, but to pay his work through college, he worked nights as a janitor, cleaning movie theaters. It was an SEIU union job, and the union leader, George Hardy, asked Sal to stop cleaning and help organize a strike against Golden Gate Fields and United Artists Theaters in San Francisco. Sal didn't totally know what he was doing, but somehow, some way, he helped lead a very successful boycott of United Artists Theaters in San Francisco, and medical school would have to wait forever. After several years with the janitors, Sal was told by his mentor, George Hardy, that he should move on to a big union. So George took Sal upstairs, SEIU's headquarters in San Francisco, and introduced him to the president of SEIU Local 250, the union that Sal would soon lead and grow into United Healthcare Workers West. But before Sal was the president, he was an organizer. He still is. He represented workers at nursing homes and hospitals, including Children's Hospital Oakland. Sal is obviously a born organizer, but he didn't know how to bargain a contract, which was a problem because that's part of his job. Luckily for Sal, he had Ralph Cornejo to lend a hand. When it came to bargain, Sal would meet up with Ralph at an all-night diner in Oakland called Biff's. And Ralph would walk him through everything that went into it. It was the start of a beautiful friendship and work partnership that is still going strong. Everyone, let's stand up and give Ralph some love. So, while Ralph taught Sal how to do the work of the union, Sal helped Ralph see that Local 250, the nation's first healthcare union, 25,000 members strong, was somewhat stuck in the past. Local 250 at that time was a top-down SEIU union. Workers were empowered to make decisions, set priorities, or even participate in bargaining. They didn't have organizers. They had business agents. Sal realized that the way to grow the union and win better contracts was to empower members to take ownership of their union, to become involved and to understand that they had the collective power to improve their workplaces and their lives. Sal's vision was taking hold, everywhere except SEIU International Headquarters. In 1987, they fired Sal after finding out he planned to run for president of Local 250 alongside Shirley Ware as secretary-treasurer. I've never heard so much clapping for somebody getting fired. Sal didn't wage his first campaign for union president as a high-ranking union staff member. He ran as a rank-and-file nursing assistant, caring for patients at Piedmont Gardens and the St. Paul Towers Retirement Center. With the support of hundreds of local rank-and-file activists who believed in their vision, Sal and Shirley won the election. They inherited a 25,000-member union that had recently lost a 7-week Kaiser strike and was $2.6 million in debt. But through struggle and determination, their vision of a union that empowers its members became reality. When Sal butted heads with SEIU top leadership again 20 years later, he did so as president of the 150,000-member SEIU United Healthcare Workers West, the biggest healthcare union west of the Mississippi River. Sal was right. Obviously, I have a running tally I'll tell you about later. Workers want to be empowered, and workers can accomplish amazing things when they are supported to exercise control over their work lives and their union. SEIU International leadership was impressed with Local 250's growth and transformation, but they learned the wrong lesson from it. Instead of embracing member empowerment, they decided to grow even faster, and they decided that the way to do that wasn't to empower members, but to cut deals with hospital executives behind their backs. Many of you already know this history, but for those who don't, the facts are that SEIU leaders in Washington, D.C. were secretly meeting with some of our major California employers like Kaiser and Tenet, and some of the largest nursing home corporations. They were secretly making deals that would have compromised the wages, benefits, and working conditions we collectively won for California healthcare workers in exchange for the right to organize workers in other states without a fight from the employers. Most importantly, the employers were insisting on top-down unions with weak workplace structures. We learned about it, we educated our members about it, and together we decided that we were not going to agree to a top-down transaction deal with corporate healthcare CEOs that would have given back the working conditions members had won through difficult struggles. As you might imagine, we have lots of footage of Sal giving speeches over the years. But the only one I want to share this evening is a segment from the 2008 SEIU convention in Puerto Rico. It is one of the clearest distillations of who we are as a union and a movement.
UHW, and some of us in our 30 years in this union movement have been through some extraordinarily tough times, political campaigns, strikes, organizing campaigns, but I have never been prouder of the members and the leaders here from UHW than I am on this day, after this 6 days. And never prouder of the other delegates that stood with us and dared disagree and dared to give, a real opinion at this convention. I'm going to close with a quote from Ted Kennedy from the 1980 Democratic Convention when he lost the nomination to Jimmy Carter. For all of those whose cares have been our concern, the work goes on, the cause continues, and hope still lives, and the dream shall never die. We will never give up on our belief that the members are the voice of our union.
Unfortunately, we all know what happened next. SEIU put the union into trusteeship, fired Sal and the other leaders, and went ahead with its backroom deals. Usually when a union gets put into trusteeship, the leader just fades away. You don't hear much from them again. That didn't happen with Sal. In part, because Sal is a force of nature, but also because Sal was never fighting for his career. He was fighting for a belief system and what unions can mean to its members. And you cannot fire a belief system. In those days after the trusteeship, a lot of our movement's leaders, some of them in the room today, went off to other unions and spread our way of doing things in our bottom-up approach. A good friend of mine said that Sal rebirthed the teachers' movement from his loins. And it's true. And so many of our members refused to silently stay with SEIU, and together we formed NUHW. Those early days of NUHW were brutal. We were fighting for our survival, but it felt like any time the end was near, Sal would pull another rabbit out of his hat, or another donation from a big union. Sal kept his cool during that time and helped us keep our cool too. I think what helped him persevere is that he knew it was never about him. The reason for our success as Local 250, SEIU, UHW, and now NUHW has always been all of you, the members. Sal understood that the workers who chose to join us want to be empowered, want to struggle and fight to make things better, like the mental health professionals at Kaiser who went 5 years without a contract. As long as we have members like that, we are going to be pretty damn tough to beat. when, when, when Sal approached me about succeeding him as president, he said, first you gotta learn how to make lasagna. And make a mess out of whatever kitchen will let you make lasagna in. And well, that wasn't what gave me anxiety, but it was, it was thinking about living up to, who Sal is, right? There's just a lot of pressure following in the footsteps of somebody who is a legend. Wherever I go with him, everybody knows him, and the only way I can get into any room, right, with electeds or it's like I say I work with Sal Rosselli, and they're like, oh, so Sal asked me to become president, and again, it was a lot of pressure, but as many of us know in this room, no one can really say no to Sal. He has taught me absolute integrity, right? Like sometimes I think about what he's went through, right? During this trusteeship, to have this whole career and to have it just sort of taken away from you, to have all these lies told about you, and through it all, right? It doesn't faze him. He just has this absolute integrity about what he believes in. He also has taught me about how to be really insanely optimistic. It's always that the glass is half full, and he's a visionary, right? And he pushes all of us, to fulfill this vision. And he also has had absolute unwavering support for me. Vanessa Co told me not to say this, but he is the wind beneath my wings. He's also my alarm clock. He told me that if I didn't show up tomorrow here at 7 a.m. that he would have security knock down my door. But yes, so many of us, right, in this room have learned so much from him. Again, we would not be here without him. His strategy, he's my best friend. He's my ride or die. And everybody, join me in thanking Sal and welcoming him up to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much. Please. Hey, Ralph Corneo, come join us up here. Come up here, Ralph. You know what? Sophia mentioned in here, I met Ralph in 1983 when I joined Local 250. And I had organizing experience, but never bargained a contract. And my first day, there was a half day with the rep that I was, the business agent that I was replacing, a half a day, where they gave me 15 manila files, 15 different facilities, 2 hospitals and 13 nursing homes. 7 of them were in collective bargaining. I never bargained a contract, right? The only way I made it through those first couple of years, because literally Ralph would meet with me every night, late at night, before I go into bargaining the next day and tell me exactly what to do. And he really is, we're brothers, right? And he knows our members more than everyone else. I just wanted to first quickly recognize a number of great friends here, family members, elected leaders, Assemblyman Phil Ting. Thank you for being here, Phil. For Sandra Fewer and Jane Kim, former members of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, and longtime friend of this union for many years, and we will do everything to help him be elected mayor of San Francisco, Aaron Peskin. Thank you for being here. And two incredible friends of our union that all of you will see tomorrow, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Koudalakis and State Superintendent Tony Thurman. We're going to have fun tonight, folks, but 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're all going to be in this room, right, and listen to these leaders, right? You with me there? You know, a couple of personal things. My life partner is here, Roberto Sanchez. She's going to be very happy when I finally retire. And I have a couple of extended family members here. My goddaughter, Jessica Martin. Where are you, Jessica? Over here. And her sister, Beth, and Beth's partner, John, and their daughter, Juniper. Really proud of them. So to our members here, our leaders, I want you to know that this is one of the most important and happiest weekends of our year. I'm speaking for all three of us now. And the reason for that is it's our opportunity to spend a couple of days honoring our elected member leaders who so selflessly and courageously volunteer all year long to build this union. So please hear that folks. That's what we're honoring you these 3 days. But I want to take a couple of minutes now to, for them, you, our member leaders, to recognize a collective of staff who, if it weren't for them, this collective, NUHW would not exist. You know, our union is very unique in a number of ways in terms of our culture. While our staff are incredibly competitive individuals, there's an absolute lack of competition among us. Because this work that we're doing is not about us. It's about collectively winning for our members. And if not for the selfless work of some of the folks that I want to recognize there, our union wouldn't exist. When NUHW was born, over 100 folks were either fired by SEIU's president or they resigned to volunteer full-time with NUHW. And scores of these leaders worked for 5 years. Please hear this. For 5 years without a salary. They volunteered. They lived on unemployment. They, some of us that were getting finally a pension from SEIU would share it with them. They lived on their savings for 5 years. So I want to recognize some of them, and the first two have been doing this since the early 80s. Charlie Ridgell, Dan Martin, come up here, join us. Come on up here, Charlie, Dan Martin. We've been together, come on up, since the late 70s. We first met in community college, and we've been together ever since. Where's Charlie? Is he not in the room?
He's right there.
Ah, come on up, Charlie. Is Pat Alvarez here? Did you see Pat? Joan Bracconi, Mary Ruth Gross, come on up here. Joan Bracconi, we haven't even said hello tonight. Joan Bracconi helped found our education program. Mary Ruth led our home care division, growing it to 60,000 members. Muni Citron is here. Muni Citron, come on up here. Now works for the Teachers Union. I meet with Muni about once a year to try to talk him into coming back to NUHW. I won't give up on that. Colleen Fewer, come on up. Colleen, where are you? Come on up here. Karen Gonzalez, where are you, Karen? Come on up, Karen Gonzalez. Tim Taglioni. Kim was our first political director. Where's Kim? Now the executive director of the San Francisco Labor Council. So proud of you. John Marshall, come up here. Come on up. John Marshall, one of our research specialists, now with the UFCW. We continue to try to get John Marshall to come back to our union. Karen Gonzalez, you coming up? Yep. Tim, you coming up? Gary Guthman, where are you? Come on up, Gary Guthman. Gary's retired. I'm told that he spends most of his time these days golfing. Emily Gordon. Emily from our research department, come on up. Where are you? Dana Simon. Dana now works for the Massachusetts Nursing Association. Is Peter here?
I haven't seen him, but call him out.
Ben Ward?
Yeah, Ben Ward. But call Peter.
Peter Tapner, are you here? Peter now works for Unite Here. I haven't seen him yet tonight. He's supposed to be here. Ben Ward, Sandra Weiss, are you here? Is Sam Winslow here? Sam Winslow, if you're here, I haven't seen you yet. I want you to come up with Ben Ward. Jonathan Mello. Jonathan, come on up. Works for the CFP now. Jackie Dragon, come join us. Jackie. Huh? Laura Curry. Laura Curry is here. I haven't seen her. Come on up, Laura. Is Jim Araby here? Pat Alvarez, if you're here, come on up. Sam Winslow? All right. So, these folks, these folks are no longer with NUHW, but if it wasn't for them, NUHW wouldn't exist. Now there's a number of our staff, NUHW staff, that have been there since the beginning. Beverly Griffith, where are you? Let me tell you the Beverly story. Beverly was like a 25-year employee of a Sutter hospital in Oakland. And when NUHW was formed, she organized her coworkers to keep SEIU out of the hospital, right? So SEIU staff colluded with Sutter Health Management and got Beverly fired, all right? It took us a number of years going through the legal process, but we finally got Beverly full back pay for those years. Fred Seavey, the best research director in the entire labor movement. Fred Seavey, where are you? Get up here. Fred. Kaiser is afraid of Fred Seavey. Come up here, Fred. Get up here. Ken Best, come up here. Ken Best leads our operations. Ken is the coordinator of this whole leadership conference, leads our operations. Richard Draper, organizing director, come on up. Barbara Lewis, come on up. We gave Barbara Lewis a retirement party last year, but she's still working for NUHW. Greg Tegenkamp, Kaiser director, come on up. Paul Kumar. You know, Paul Kumar, He led our union's political operation that grew from him to 25 full-time community political organizers all over the state, the best in the labor movement. Come on up, Paul. Abid Yahya, our Northern California Hospital Division Director. Come on up, Abid. Francisco Sendejas leads our hospital division in Southern California. Come on up. Benjamin Eichard and Julie Nielsen. Benjamin, Julie, come on up, leading our public policy operation. Jamie Horwitz. Jamie Horwitz is our DC consultant, got us incredible press during the trusteeship, during the fight with SEIU, working with us today. Last but not least, Vanessa Coe. Vanessa Coe. Before I tell you about Vanessa Coe, Glenn Goldstein. Glenn, come on up. Glenn has the reputation of being the most successful hospital organizer in the country, and recently he just came back to NUHW working on Providence. So Vanessa Coe, friends, Vanessa Coe, in our beginning years, was a volunteer with NUHW. 14 years later, elected our Secretary-Treasurer. How about that? Just want to mention a couple of other folks that, first, before I do that, I need to recognize our attorneys. I hope they're all sitting together. Jonathan Siegel, Letica Malconi, Clarice Huffman, and Dan Siegel, and can you stand up, please? Where are you? Right here. Come on up. Come on up. Come join us. For years, our beginning years, SEIU, all kinds of lawsuits against us, suing NUHW for $25 million. This team of lawyers, again, worked without we had no money. Volunteer hours. NUHW wouldn't exist without them. Where are Steve Early and Cal Winslow? Steve Early, Cal Winslow, two journalists, wrote books about our movement. Again, just volunteering so many times, so many hours to help NUHW. My brother Rick Jacobs is here. He led Courage Campaign. Rick Jacobs, another like NUHW wouldn't exist with a great, tremendous support from him. Next to him is Sean Kedlick. Sean spent many hours overnight in the beginning of trusteeship chronicling, videotaping, he's the videographer, a very famous one, videotaping our members that would not relinquish their houses. Thank you for being here, brothers. And Ian Lewis, where's Ian Lewis? Ian Lewis now works for Unite Here. Ian, come on up. Rick, Sean, come on up. Unite Here, I'll tell you, Unite Here gave so many staff. Ian, volunteered with us back then. He joined NUHW. But the organization that he helps lead right now, when we were fined $1 million, Unite Here wrote that $1 million check when our union had nothing. So friends, I know everyone's hungry. Next year, when you come here, we are writing a book on this movement, okay? And we are writing a book, and it's not going to be an academic book. It's a book that's going to inspire workers to join NUHW and to join unions like ours. And Eli Rosenberg, journalist sitting here, is helping us write that book. You'll hear more from them. So, NUHW leaders, please recognize this team, right? This team of dedicated staff. Please stand and give them a hand. Okay.
Get in there so that they can take a picture. When you're done.
Take some pictures?
Get in there so you can take a picture.